It is a beautiful day, but oh, is it cold out there? My goodness. Feels like we just leapfrogged into, I don't know what, the end of January, February, something. It's just like, sheesh. But what are you going to do? Not much. We're going to be fine, right? I think we're actually supposed to warm back up over the weekend. So this is hopefully just a brief dip. But it's good to be with you. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying warm, as we start to wind our way toward Thanksgiving and Christmas and the end of the year. Wow. It's going to be so interesting to see what the new year brings, won't it? All right, my breakfast club is here with me as always. We've got just a few of you are here. Let's see, it's Jane and Jackie and Linda. I guess everybody's just waking up and trying to get moving here in this cold weather. Either that or I'm missing some names. It's showing me that there's like 9 people here watching, and I don't see that many people. Um, so Ellen and David, Regina. Oh my goodness, how are you? It's been a while. It's good to see you, my sister. Let's see. And I think that's it for the moment. All right. So good to be with you, as I said. And we're talking lately this week, really, about some of the practical things that we can do to position ourselves, prepare, and really get in gear for all that the Lord, is wanting to do in our lives, and what He's created us for, and what that looks like. And man, how do you begin to move forward toward that? So, I've been talking about what it looks like to take a dream and take a vision and begin to craft, a goal that is actually achievable. Yesterday, I shared with you some amazing research in how setting a schedule in order to create new habits is probably and I would have to say, and as far as I know, it is the most powerful way that I have yet seen to actually accelerate transformation, to really really see progress in whatever it is that we're looking to accomplish, whatever the Lord has put on us to do. Again, our lives, we all know that our lives can be so filled with distractions and things that come at us with such a sense of urgency. And I think I did mention a few days ago, there's this little pamphlet written by, I think it's John Stott. I'm pretty sure, if that's not right, I know it was published by InterVarsity Press. And the little booklet, it's called The Tyranny of the Urgent. And it's all about how things that just come at us and seem like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. If you really step back, it's not quite as bad as it seems, right? Or better yet, it's not really my problem. Why are you bringing this to me? Why are you, insisting that I get involved in something that is not my problem? Ah, see, that takes a little discipline on our part to know what our boundaries look like. And boy, that's a whole nother topic, which I'm not going to get into today. But just understanding, the nature of our existence in this 21st century, there's a lot that is conspiring against us, it seems, to keep us from really staying focused on what's truly important. Okay, so yesterday I began to share with you some thoughts on how to do that, how to start to create habits using a schedule, creating appointments with your destiny, with your future, by actually putting that in your calendar. If you missed that, you want to go back and watch yesterday's broadcast, because that is huge. And we're jumping off of this parable that Jesus told in Mark chapter 4, where he describes a man who is casting seed. This is not the sower, as I've mentioned. The sower is a different story, and the sower in that story is Jesus. But in this one, this is a human being. This is you and I sowing seed. Again, I don't have time to go back into that, but what Jesus shows us here is that that seed, when it's planted in good soil, it's going to grow and develop first the blade, then the head, then the mature grain in the head. Yesterday I shared with you that the head is actually a structure that the plant creates in which its fruit can grow and develop. So for us, we take that and we look at our lives and say, okay, what structure do I need to create so that I am intentionally focused on the things that I know I'm supposed to do so that my creativity can be released? Creativity is not based upon some random sense of inspiration or a feeling that we get, but creativity is a habit. Okay, if you want to be creative, if you want to be productive, then we've got to learn how to establish habits in which we actually engage in those things, right? Not whether I feel like it or don't feel like it. It's okay, I've set aside this time today. Let's get at it. Let's get busy. Now, any kind of a new direction in life, right, that we're looking to chart, it's never easy. It took us years to develop all these bad habits. And so, trying to break free of them is not something that will happen overnight. I wish it would. As I mentioned yesterday, the research shows that it takes us anywhere from 30 to 60 days to truly create a habit that becomes part of our lifestyle. And that's what we want. We want this to become part of our lifestyle. So, what I'm going to share with you today, give credit where credit is due. This was material that I got from a guy named James Clear, who basically brought together a whole bunch of research on habits, on how to create them, how to break bad habits, and all of that. And I think he wrote a book on it, but he just brought together all this different research that's been done on, on our human psychology, on our human temperament, and how to, actually leverage that to effect the kind of transformation that the Lord wants to do in our lives, right? We've got to cooperate. I keep saying this over and over again. We have a role to play. So, from his research, here are 5 common mistakes that cause new habits to fail and what we need to do to overcome that, right? The first one is trying to change everything at once. We get inspired, and it's like, especially as we enter a new year, right? The whole New Year resolution thing. And so we want to try to make changes in all these different areas in our life. Don't do it, okay? When I coach people, I tell them, all the things that you want to accomplish are wonderful, but you really cannot focus on more than 2 or 3. And I suggest that you start with 1, okay? And you look at your priorities, you look at the things that you would love to see change happening in. And basically, you're going to put them in 3 buckets. The first bucket would be your A priorities. Those are the ones, the 1, 2, or 3 that are so important to you. Then you have the next bucket, which is your B priorities. And those would be the ones that, if I have time, I'll look at that. Then you've got the last bucket, if you still have some left over. That would be your C bucket. And those are the ones that you put up on the shelf because you're never going to get to them. So looking at, really realistically what you can focus on and do well with, right? Again, I just believe that it's best to start with 1, right? The Bible even says that we shouldn't despise the day of small beginnings. So pick the most important one that you feel like, I need to change this in order for me. Maybe it is setting up your schedule and sticking to it. Doesn't matter. just realize that, you know, because of our human limitations. Now, I know we can do all things through Christ. Okay. I'm not suggesting that's not true, but at the same time, the Lord, I believe, wants us to use wisdom and not try to overwhelm ourselves by trying to do too much at once. So that would be the first suggestion, that you would just don't start with something, or don't start with too many things at once. The second one is kind of similar. Uh, don't try to change something that is so huge in your life that if you were to jump into it, you might fail, because it would be just something that's too hard for you to keep up the motivation, especially if you don't have a lot of support. Yesterday, I shared a little bit about, having someone be an accountability partner who, you give permission to ask you a question about how you're doing with this process. Very important. But if you don't have that, or you just don't feel like you've got the kind of support that you need, basically what you want to do is start with something, make it small, make it easy for yourself. For example, let's use exercise. That's an easy thing for us to imagine. Maybe you have a goal that you want to be able to do 50 push-ups a day. That would be huge. I'm not doing 50 push-ups a day, all right? I'm still working towards that goal myself. But I didn't start out trying to do 50 push-ups a day. I started out, okay, how many can I do? How many can I do a day? And I think when I first started out, I was like, I don't know, it was like 15 or 16 push-ups. Okay. And you start with a small number. Start with something small, right? Let's look at meditation. Maybe you want to spend time with the Lord, and your goal would be, yes, I'm going to spend, 30 or 60 minutes a day, with the Lord in meditation and prayer and all this. That's a huge thing when you've not done it before. So don't, immediately jump in to a 30 or 60 minute time. Start with 1 or 2 minutes, 5, I don't know. Start small, okay? Because again, the idea here is we're just looking to establish a structure, to create something that becomes part of our lifestyle. So the last thing you want to do is, make a goal that is so big that you're almost dooming yourself to failure, because it's like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. Yes, it is. So do yourself a favor and start small, right? Just do something. Doesn't matter how big or how small it is, but start small, because then you're going to, make it easy. And why shouldn't we try to hit the easy button on this stuff? God is not after us to sweat and strive and to beat ourselves up because we're not, making it happen the way we feel we should. All right. The third one is this: focusing too much on the outcome, the result. And we talked a little bit about this yesterday. We are so performance oriented that, and we honestly, there's a lot of us still need to be set free from a religious mindset that where we believe that God is measuring our progress and he's up there going, "Oh, you didn't do enough today. You better fix that." No, that is not his heart, and it should not be our heart as well. You know what the goal is? The goal for this process is consistency. That's it. All we should look to be able to do here is create something that we can stay with on a consistent basis. And you know what? If you miss one, the next one's coming up. And you just say to yourself, all right, something happened today. I missed what I had set aside to do, but have this as your kind of go-to phrase. I'm only ever going to miss one. okay? If you make that kind of commitment to yourself and to the Lord if you want, you know what, Lord, I'm only ever going to miss one. If I miss one, okay, it happens. But I am not going to miss the next one. All right? And so that's all it takes. All right? If we focus on maybe one, two things, start small in terms of what we're going to do, right? With that, and just say, make that commitment. I don't care how much progress I'm making. What I care about is, am I staying consistent with my program, what I have set aside to do? And if I happen to miss one, okay, but I'm only going to ever miss one. All right, that is so cool. Number 4. Oh, this is a big one. Many times, our environment that we live in is working against us. Okay, let me use the meditation thing as an example. You know, if you live in a busy, noisy household, it's going to be tough for you to find a quiet spot where, you know, you can get with the Lord and not be interrupted. I know that that can be an issue, but things like that, right? So what changes do you need to make in your environment that would make it easier for you to accomplish that goal, right? Let's say that you have a problem with becoming too distracted in the morning, and so it messes with you in terms of being able to really focus on the Lord or whatever you want to do. Well, stop using your phone as an alarm clock. How about that? Use a regular alarm clock. And for me, when I was having trouble getting out of bed in the morning, you know, the alarm would go off and I'd turn it off. This is before we had smartphones. And you know, I would just lay back and I inevitably would fall back asleep. Well, I had to put my alarm clock on the other side of the room, so I got out of bed to turn it off, right? So you do these kind of things to affect your, you know, change your environment, to make your environment as conducive as possible to you fulfilling that goal, right? If you need to create a little space where you know you've got your supplies or your laptop or whatever, I don't know. You know what your situation looks like, and so you know, if you're trying to eat more healthy and you still go out and buy too much food that's not healthy, well, that's going to have to change, right? Um, if if you're constantly surrounded by negative people and you're trying to, you know, become a more positive person, that's not a good environment. Okay. um, I'm just looking at some, you know, some ideas here that I shared. You know, that some of these are from James as well. So here's something to think about. You are where you are in life right now largely because your environment has affected you in many ways that perhaps you never thought about. And so the biggest challenge that we all have is, what changes do I need to make in my physical, in my emotional environment so that I can be more successful in creating the structure that will absolutely move me forward toward fulfilling the goals and fulfilling the destiny that God created me for. Okay? So, very important that we understand how this works and be willing to make those changes. The last thing that we often deal with is, and I alluded to this earlier, is it feels like we're making such little progress. You know, if we have a big goal, you look at that and you go, man, that just feels like I'm never going to get there. You know, and that can become discouraging. That can really work at demotivating us towards continuing with the process. So what do? Well, don't assume that small changes are not going to add up, because they are. Small changes will absolutely add up. And the phrase that I got from James Clear was 1%. 1%. What what is the 1% change that you can celebrate, right? In other words, it doesn't have to be this major step forward. Listen, we all start out taking baby steps, don't we? And remember when those days and when you had your own kids, right? You celebrated every single one of those baby steps when they were first doing that, you know. And that's what we need to do for ourselves. Hey, wow, look at that. I had a goal of losing 20 pounds, and I have a goal of losing 20 pounds. And look, this week I lost a pound. That's awesome. Celebrate that. Yeah, okay, maybe you were hoping to lose five, but you lost one. Don't don't fall into the trap, of again, don't despise the day of small beginnings, right? Don't fall into the trap of getting upset because you're not making progress more quickly, right? Achievements are achievements no matter how small. And so as we build these behaviors, as we build these new habits that become part of our lifestyle, we will be operating in that level of incremental change and incremental progress. And remember, here's the thing that we've got to never forget, and I have to constantly remind myself of this. The Lord is in the journey. All right? We want to get there. We want to get to the final destination and the goal and all of that, and he understands that. He made us to be goal oriented and to want to achieve things. But at the same time, see, his priority is the journey. His priority is walking with us in the seemingly mundane details of our lives, where every day we're just trying to stay focused on the things that he's shown us are important. And that's where he is. That's where the joy is. That's where we experience his presence. We think that, oh, when all this is happening, it's going to be amazing, and oh, the power of God and the glory of God. Yes, yes, yes. But don't miss out on the joy and the experience of walking with him through this process, because that's what he wants. He wants us to absolutely enjoy all that is happening every moment, every day, every week, right? We need to live in that eternal now, right? Where it's like, yeah, this is good. I'm abiding in the secret place of the Most High. I'm abiding in Jesus, and I'm seated with him in heavenly places, and I'm just enjoying his presence and his love in my life. That's what he wants. Yeah, there are things that he has created us to accomplish, but can I tell you, those things are nowhere near as important to his heart as the time and the attention that we give to just being with him. I mean, that's why he created us. He didn't create us to be servants or employees. He created us to be sons and daughters who get to enjoy being with their papa. Okay? So very, very important that we understand how these things work, so that we can begin to partner with him in a way that honors his priorities, which again is all about relationship and us experiencing his amazing love every moment of every day. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful for you. I think tomorrow I'm gonna just share some things with you prophetically from the Genesis mandate that we talk so much about here: be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, subdue it, and rule. The Lord gave me a prophetic declaration out of each of those five. And so I'm going to share that with you tomorrow. Um, Here's something that I'm also thinking about. I'm just going to throw this out. I feel like the Lord, wants me to kind of shift the format of this program and open it up to dialogue, which means I would open up the phone lines um, during the program and maybe talk with one or two of you. Could be totally anonymous. Obviously on the phone, no one knows who you are, but you could call and we could talk about if you have a question or a situation that you're not sure how to deal with. Um, so I'm really I'm going to try that. I think next week. Next week, of course, is a holiday week with Thanksgiving, so I won't be broadcasting Thursday or Friday anyway. So I'm going to give that a shot. And if you're interested, please feel free. I'll post the phone number. And if, we're only doing a half hour here, so I don't expect that we'll get too many calls in. But I don't know. I'm going to give it a try. I kind of idea kind of dropped into my heart a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, huh, that would be interesting. So we'll see how that goes, but that'll be next week. Hey, you know what? I keep forgetting to mention that I am doing an online workshop this coming Saturday. So let me just mention that really quickly before we close today. So this Saturday, we'll be doing a Zoom online workshop on how to hear God's voice, right? How to hear it, how to understand when it's God who's speaking and when it's not, and what to do with that kind of revelation. Because not only does He want us to hear, Him for ourselves, but He also wants to be able to speak to people through us. So my friend Gary Fishman and we're going to be presenting this workshop on Saturday. And we just trying to keep this as reasonable as possible. The registration is only $10, and if you're really not able to afford that, we never turn anyone away for financial reasons. So just reach out to me, and we'll take care of that. So that's this coming Saturday. You can register by going to our website, kingdomti.com. And you'll see the registration page, or the event is listed there. And so you can take care of that as well if you're interested. And I hope to see a lot of you there. All right, awesome. So thank you again. Let me just say good morning to the rest of y'all. Let me jump back up here and see, where do we leave off. Wow, look at all of you guys. My goodness. Wow. I don't even know where I left off. Oh, yes, it was Regina. That's right. Joanne and Dee, Norma, Patty, Candy, Gloria, Franny, how are you? Ba-ba-da-ba-da. John and Michael, Donna. Let's see. Terry, Debbie. Wow, look at all you guys. My goodness. Thank you so much. Trying to think. I think I got you all. If I missed anybody, sorry. Really, sometimes I don't see the names. Hey, listen, have a great day, and be encouraged. The Lord is really working to get us ready for a new season of tremendous, tremendous acceleration and productivity for His glory. And I'm excited about that. So, hey, I'll see you tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern. Till then, thank you so very much.